Are you struggling to find customers? Like, really struggling? Well, you're in exactly the right place. Today, we're going to break down the core system from Alex Hormozy's amazing book, 100M Leads. We're going to take all that chaos and confusion about finding customers and turn it into a dead simple, actionable roadmap. All right, let's get into it. And Hormozy, man, he just cuts right to the chase with this. Every single business, I don't care who you are, faces this exact problem. You can't make money if you don't have customers, and you can't get customers if they have no idea you exist. It sounds so obvious, right? But this is the step where everyone gets stuck. So how do you get total strangers to actually care about your stuff? Well, the answer, funny enough, starts with a story of absolute total disaster. So before Alex Hormozy became this 9-figure entrepreneur you see today, he was just a founder, staring right into the abyss. He wasn't thinking about getting rich or buying fancy cars. He was just trying to survive a catastrophic failure in his business, which was called Gym Launch. In March of 2017, this was his reality: $150,000 in the red. And this wasn't just some number on a spreadsheet. No, this was way more personal. He'd convinced his girlfriend's friends to quit their jobs to come work for him, and now he couldn't even pay them. Imagine having to make that phone call. And this is exactly why his advice hits so hard. It's not some theory from a textbook. He gets it. He knows that panic, that pressure, because he lived it. This entire system we're about to break down, it wasn't born in a comfortable boardroom. It was forged in the fire of pure desperation, when he had no money and zero time to spare. So what do you do when your back is completely against the wall? Well, Hormozy did what any of us would probably do. He tried to advertise his way out of the massive hole he was in. With no money and crushing pressure, he decided to try and sell his gym lunch system online. He decided to model what a successful mentor was doing, which was, one of those super complex, professionally produced webinars. He poured 8 weeks, every single spare moment, into building this thing. And he took his last few $100, threw it at some ads, and just prayed for a miracle. And the results of all that blood, sweat, and tears? A big fat zero. After burning through $450, not a single person even bothered to watch his webinar, let alone buy anything. It was a complete failure. He was crushed, totally out of money, and right back at square one. But then, out of pure desperation, he tried something else. And this, right here, was the turning point. On a total whim, he recorded a simple 13-minute case study. It was just a screen recording showing exactly how he filled a gym with new members. No fancy slides, no script. He just gave away his whole process for free. He swapped the ad for the webinar with this simple video, and the very next morning, his business partner's calendar was totally stocked with sales calls from strangers. It was wild. So, what was the big lesson here? It's that people didn't want to be sold to. They didn't want his polished webinar. What they desperately wanted was valuable information that could actually solve their problems. This accidental experiment revealed the foundational principle of his entire philosophy: just give people what they actually want. This discovery really boils down to the core strategy of the whole book, the concept of a lead magnet. You can think of it as the engine that drives this entire system for getting strangers to pay attention to you. Now, a lead magnet isn't just some throwaway PDF you whip up in 5 minutes. No way. It has to be an absolutely irresistible piece of value that solves a real painful problem for your perfect customer. The whole idea is to deliver so much value up front that you earn their trust. They start thinking, wow, if the free stuff is this good, I can only imagine what the paid stuff is like. And the best part? Creating one isn't rocket science. Hormozy boils it down to 3 essentials. First, solve one narrow, painful problem. Don't try to solve everything at once. Second, make it so good people would have happily paid money for it. And finally, always tell them what the next step is. Give them a clear path forward. This really gets to the philosophy behind the best lead magnets. Don't be afraid to share your best ideas. The reality is most people won't implement them on their own anyway. By giving away the what, the secrets, you build massive trust, which makes them want to pay you for the how. You give them the recipe for free, so they'll hire you to bake the cake. Okay, so let's say you've got this amazing lead magnet. That's awesome. But now what? How do you actually get it in front of people? This is where Hormozy just demystifies all of marketing with a simple, powerful framework he calls the Core 4. It's so simple. It's brilliant. Every single thing you could possibly do to get a lead fits into one of these 4 boxes. You're either talking to people who already know you, your warm audience, or you're talking to complete strangers, your cold audience. And you're doing it either one-to-one, like a DM or an email, or one-to-many, like a social media post. That's it. That's the entire universe of marketing. And honestly, this framework is so empowering. It takes the huge, overwhelming world of marketing and simplifies it into 4 concrete things you can actually do. If leads aren't coming in, there's no mystery. The problem is always a lack of skill or a lack of volume in one of these 4 areas. No more guessing. So we have the strategy, that's the lead magnet. We have the system, that's the core 4. But just knowing all this stuff isn't enough, right? You have to take action. And that's where Hormozi gives us a direct, motivating rule for turning all this into results. And it's called the Rule of 100. It's a simple commitment. Do 100 primary advertising actions every single day. Not when you feel like it, not when you're motivated, every day. It's all about building unstoppable momentum through massive, consistent volume. So what does that actually look like in the real world? Well, depending on which of the core 4 you pick, it could be sending 100 warm DMs, or spending 100 minutes creating content, or making 100 cold calls, or spending $100 on paid ads. You just pick your method and commit to that daily volume. And this is the powerful promise behind that commitment. Hormozi basically argues that if you consistently apply this level of effort, generating leads stops being a problem forever. Because volume solves almost every lead generation issue you'll ever have. So there you have it. The system is brutally simple. 1, create something valuable that people actually want. 2, use one of the 4 core methods to get it in front of them. And 3, do it with massive, consistent volume. That's the roadmap. It's all laid out for you. The only question left is, what are you going to do with it?